Welcome to the studio. Today I'm excited to introduce you to somebody who shaped our passion for naturally aspirated engines more than any other. Wolfgang Nehse. He's the man behind many of the Engine of the Year awards nominated to BMW in the past. For his creations, such as the first M3 engine, the S50, S52, the legendary S54, as well as the S70 engine that powered the McLaren F1 supercar. His work also contributes to many race victories by winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans, Spa, Nürburgring, and multiple times the Rallye Paris-Dakar, what will lead us, as you will find out, to a deep connection to air-cooled engines as well. This is also the story about how an idea became reality. By partnering with engineering experts of KKN and design leaders at Munich, we founded REENClassics to develop something truly special together. Here we see the RSGT car, our concept car for the REEN drive system, just as we left it on this beautiful Austrian Alpine road. It's our test car for the engine setup, powered by the Porsche 997 GT3 RS engine. In my opinion, one of the most characterful and iconic Porsche engines ever built. And now I'm proud to introduce you to our first product, the re-engineered kit for all Porsche 964s and 993. It unites one of the best classic driver's sports car, the Porsche 964 and 993, with Wolfgang's masterpiece, a high-revving 4-valve air-cooled GT3 engine with an even higher specific output than the outgoing Porsche 997 GT3 RS engine. And of course, this kit includes all the components that made the RSGT such a great driver's car. But let's keep this aside and let's focus on Wolfgang. Hello, Wolfgang.
Yeah, hi, Philip.
I'm excited you are here, and I must say it's the first time ever I've seen you on a motorbike.
Yes, my life as a teenager really started on two wheels. I drove to the dancing school, to the airfield where I made my pilot's license. And at the age of 21, I started my first motorcycle race. I was interested in racing cars too, but as a student, I couldn't afford them.
But you raced cars later on, didn't you?
Yes, when I worked for BMW Motorsport, I was so close to the racing scene that I wanted to try it myself. I took my everyday car, a BMW 2002, fitted it with a roll cage, with new Bilstein dampers and slick tires, and started in historic racing like the 1,000 kilometers on the Nürburgring. Later on, I drove a BMW 3.5 CSL, a Porsche Carrera RS, and still today I drive a BMW E30, M3 E30 and E36 on various racing events.
Wasn't the BMW E30 M3 the first BMW Motorsport car built in larger numbers?
Yes, we had to build 5,000 units for homologation in Group A. At the end of production, we have sold more than 70,000 of this car. And on the racetrack, I think it was the most successful touring car ever. I worked together with some engineers to develop this engine, and as the company grew, I became head of development for application and performance of all BMW M engines. In this time, we developed the S50, the S52, the concept for the S54, and most notable for the McLaren F1, we developed the engine together with Gordon Murray.
I saw a picture of a rally Porsche 911 you drove in. What's the story behind it?
Yes, I always had been fascinated from the technical concept of the Porsche 911. In the age of 22, I owned my first Porsche 911, the E model with mechanical injection, which I bought from an American GI for 400 Deutschmark, which is nowadays $210. The car was full of rust, so as I remember, I needed 2 square meters of sheet metal to weld over all the holes the car had. Over the years, I owned several Porsche, and I still have a 996 GT3 Cup car and a Porsche 3.0 RS, which are rebuilt from the bare shell to the engine. With this car, I drove in several events of the historic European Championship together with my son as a co-driver.
Today, you brought a BMW motorcycle that looks really special to me.
Yes, it's a real special model. It is the BMW HP2 Sport, the crowning glory of the BMW air-cooled Boxer series.
As far as I know, you also worked for BMW Motorcycle for a few years.
Yes, in 1998, Wolfgang Nehse brought me to BMW Motorcycle to redesign the whole engine lineup to give the brand a more sportier image. At the time, BMW was primarily known for their comfortable and reliable tourers. Shortly afterwards, Wolfgang Nehse moved to Porsche, leaving me to handle this task alone.
What was the first project at BMW Motorcycle you had to tackle?
The first project was to develop the R650RR for the upcoming Paris-Dakar rally. The year before, we retired with technical problems, and still 3 months before the start, we had a lot of problems to solve.
And the result, Wolfgang?
We won the rally with Richard Saint as a driver before the favorite KTM team. And in the year 2000, we took the first 4 places, 3rd place going to the R900RR, ridden by Jimmy Lewis.
The R900RR was a Boxer engine. What made it so special?
Yes, this engine more or less was a prototype for the next generation of BMW Boxer engines, which started in 2003 with the R1200 GS. We were able to test this engine concept under the harshest condition in the desert, a concept where the oil was not only used for lubrication of the engine, but also for to cool the cylinder heads.
Was it a 2-valve or already a 4-valve engine?
It was already a 4-valve engine, and ambient temperatures were at about 45 degrees Celsius, which is more than 110 degrees Fahrenheit.
But back to the HP2 you brought with you. I remember the bike had over 130 horsepower and revved to nearly 10,000 RPM.
Yes, I think this engine was indeed a milestone in the development of the air-cooled Boxer engines. And as we needed no water cooling, this is a real lightweight, as a curb weight of only 199 kilograms. And the engine featured from high-performance components like double overheat camshaft with conical cam profiles to actuate the radial mounted valves. And we used DLC-coated finger followers, which we already have introduced with the K1200S. This engine, with a bit reduced power, is still used in the R1290 of model year 2025.
Wolfgang, I did the math. You mean in terms of the specific power output, the HP2 already met the performance of the Porsche 997 GT3 engine that is water-cooled?
Exactly. With this engine, we achieved at about the same specific power as the Porsche engine. 1,170 cubic centimeter, 133 horsepower, which means 150 horsepower a liter. And even more in terms of bore, stroke, compression ratio, the values are very, very similar. Only with the DLC-coated finger rollers, we were one step ahead. Porsche introduced them later in the 991.
Wolfgang, what do you want to tell me with this? You mean you already had a proven and perfectly working four-valve air-cooled engine concept on hand?
Yes, this engine demonstrated what could be achieved with air-cooled boxer engines. We built it in various versions, far more than 100,000 units. But with this concept, it's nearly impossible to fit various valve cam or valve timing. And if you look to the cylinder heads, they are very large. They couldn't be fitted in a row in a Porsche boxer engine. To design a six-cylinder Porsche air-cooled, you have to go one step further.
Wolfgang, can you briefly explain the design features of our air-cooled engine?
Yes, we have optimized the cooling system and with a completely new design of the cooling fins. We redesigned the cylinder head and the oil circuit, and we take advantage of the latest Formula One proven aluminium alloys. For the production, we were looking for methods which are normally only were used in motorsport, like in Formula One or rear C. I think to explain this, we should meet each other once at the production line to take a closer look to it.
And with all that, the re-engineered kit does not only upgrade the engine, it transforms the entire driving experience. With upgrades to the brakes, suspension, steering, shifting, and the electronics, it complements the new level of performance and brings these classic Porsches into a new era, an era where legacy meets cutting-edge technology and performance. But Wolfgang, are you 100% sure this will work? I mean, regarding our performance targets and the durability tests of the engine?
I'm sure, Philip. The concept phase is over, and we just confirmed our design with the latest calculation methods. And now we are waiting for the engine and the test bench to go.
Let's call this the ending of Chapter 1. And if you are as excited as I am to get a deeper look behind the scenes of designing, building and testing our air-cooled engines, we will take you along with Wolfgang on this journey for a few more chapters. Thank you, Wolfgang, for being a part of it. And join us for Chapter 2, where we will sit down to have a deeper look at the calculation and design process.